episode 2 of this 91 Toyota build. Go on the website, get some merch. When you guys do that, it helps me fund these builds and pay Panda and pay myself and do all these things. So thank you. Appreciate it. Grinder-tv.com.
Can we what up? Not work on the car so much.
Set it up. This cross member will get cut out. This will get trimmed, lifted, re-welded. Those mounts will stay where it's at. Gas tank will clear the ground. We have the notch for the drive line, which will just put a hoop in there.
Yeah. So the back of the frame will stay the same?
Everything will stay stock except for the notch. The notch will go in.
And then you cut here and make the new frame there?
Yeah, so that's where we're gonna have to figure out is like how we're gonna do the body drop. I'm gonna try something. Just sold 2 more battery boxes.
Okay. Push them. Where are you buying them?
Oh, the website's down. Yeah, if you need a battery box, text me, call me, find me on Instagram. The website's not working right now, so. I took the gas tank out because I don't think you can lay rocker with the factory gas tank location. So we're gonna move it to the back. Brandon's been removing cross members and removing stuff getting out of the way. He's gonna put this rear cross member in, we're gonna tack it, weld it. That way he can remove this gas tank, or no, the spare tire carrier will get eliminated, and we can mount the gas tank in the very back. The notches, I'm gonna prep the notches and weld the notches right now. That way he can set those in and get those all prepped and ready, and then we'll burn those bitches in. And then that's probably the day. Watch your eyes.
Tell me the secret to your welding technique.
Spray. It's all in the spray. If you don't have the spray, it's not really a weld. That's it. Oh. Yeah, usually we do like plated notches and stuff, but because it's a Toyota and it comes with a fully boxed frame, what's really nice is with this notch, we're just gonna line it up on the side of the frame, mark on the frame where it's gonna go, and we're just gonna cut this section out, this side and the top, here and here, and the notch will slide in from the side, and then we'll burn it all together, then cut the center section out. It only works on like Toyotas and hard bodies and like anything with a box frame. If it's a C-channel, slip over all day.
Yeah. S10s?
S10s.
Inferior trucks.
Yeah, because now it's like you just go through and you just burn everything in. Which, that's a big gap right there, huh?
I have that hole.
Like, so there's a small gap right here. So what we'll end up doing is we'll burn as much as we can in, and then I'll end up doing an overlay that sits right on top of this.
What's an overlay?
It's called a fish plate is what it's called. But it's basically just a plate that sits on the top of everything, and then I burn them so that way they become a single piece. I was gonna say, people probably talk shit that I don't fish plate these, but
yeah,
I'm confident in my welds. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's a mini truck too.
Yeah.
What's up?
Got compressors? You filming? Sick. Thank you. 444s, huh? pinion angle. So proper pinion angle. Everybody always goes, oh, let's drop it down so it clears the cab. And all. Wrong. Okay, transmission, because the motor and tranny sit up like this. The front of the motor's here. The back of the transmission where the seal sits, it's going to be sitting at an angle like this. The rear end needs to match that same angle, so when they're together, it's flush. If you're like this, pointing down, and it goes like that, you're going to create wobble in the rear end and in the driveline.
Is this why it blows transmission seals out? If they're if
not
it's wrong?
particularly, but that's why at like certain speeds, all of a sudden you'll be like, wow, it gets a weird vibration. That's why. Years of working at AZ Diff.
And doing things wrong?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Those will work, right? I'll do a gusset here, and then maybe one that comes off the bottom here.
Brandon's currently stripping the engine compartment, and I'm just kind of hanging out, trying not to be in the way. It's like when you try to help in these situations, you're essentially in the way. Hopefully this thing gets done at some point. This is probably my favorite part. Little stretch there. Have you figured out what you're gonna do with like the frame?
Kind of.
And I'm going to LST. So I'll see you guys when I get back.
Okay.
Have fun.
Don't quote us on any of that shit.
It's freezing. Break. Is it cold?
It's so cold. It's so freaking cold.
A few moments later.
But you'll have it forever.
The gas tank mount there?
Yeah, we did the gas tank mount, did that rear frame cross member, air tank mount, which is also a rear notch cross member.
It's gonna bolt from the bottom up so that you can still pull the gas tank with the bed on. You don't have to pull the bed. So yeah, this will go up.
It's important to think about things like that, like making sure if the fuel pump is in the tank, that the tank can just drop down instead of taking the bed off. Those are the things that you do when you build your first truck, and then when your fuel pump goes out, you're like, oh man, I gotta take the bed off.
Yeah.
It's fitting a bunch of stuff in a small space.
I think across the top here of an angle was the original idea.
Talking about putting the compressors, mounting the compressors.
Maybe sitting right here-ish. I don't know, we're still playing with it.
Yeah.
Trying to get it all symmetrical. And
I think what we'll end up doing is we'll just cut it right after the cab, right? We'll have to do the initial, one of the rails will have to come off of this, just kind of like your truck. Same thing, come off and go straight. And then we'll have to hook that into the factory frame.
Because what are these, 4-inch rails?
Yeah, probably 4 inches tall. Yeah, it's like a 2x4, fits in this thing almost perfect, so it's a little bit oversized. But yeah, well, see, it's like we're gonna have to roll the pinch back and get measurements. Dude, check out these welds. This guy fucking broke this die the other day.
broke the die, dude.
So I took it up to my buddy Anthony.
Look at that.
Anthony's a boss, dude. But we broke this die bending some stuff we shouldn't have tried to bend, and it broke this right off. And I just took it up the street to him, and dude, he gets down. Like, look at that weave. Where'd it break at? The whole thing is kind of sketchy because like this is off of a car lift. It's not even for a bender. So that's what kind of makes the whole thing real sketchy. Go ahead and pull it back around.
That's why it sounds like a car lift going up. Yeah. I was like, why does it sound so familiar? What?
Dude, your lens is getting spark damage.
Is it?
Yeah, it looks like it. There's a couple pits on there. How much is the lens? Oh, you're good. You're fine. Just keep it slow. Keep it steady.
Right,
pace.
that's always been my problem is I'm trying to...
You end up going too fast.
Yeah.
And you end up doing your welds too, like in between each bead is too big.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like when you, however far forward you go halfway back.
Right.
And then when you're moving, you consistently move. When you come back, you stop for half a second. And you go and then you stop for half a second. And you go and you stop for half a second.
Build up.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Right.
Oh, I do this when I weld. It's like, who cares? There, back.
Right.
The effect of what you're gonna get is on the comeback.
Right.
So when you're coming back, that's what it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one too far apart. This one much better. Try doing half that distance.
Okay.
So when you move forward, try to do half that and then go back.
Okay.
And then half that and go. That's fucking perfect. I bet by the fourth one, nailed it. You'll be done. Yeah. And those are good solid welds. They're not gonna move. They ain't going nowhere.
But if we go up here, it might go over.
No, let's go to the frame now.
Frame?
Because it looks huge. Like, yeah, it looks, I mean, yeah, closer to we're in line with the bed mounts.
Okay.
Just because the length of the upper can't be too much longer than the length of the lower. Yeah, I need a clamp. Hold on. So on Carl's Dodge, the steering rack, the problem that people don't bag Dodges is because the steering rack is stupid and it doesn't work right. So we built new arms, so I had to build a new steering rack. We'll move the steering rack away from the frame, and we made a swing set steering that bolts to that, so it's up higher and closer in, so he doesn't have bump steer anymore. Well, this is a solid block of Delrin. The idea is the rod that connects between the two steering arms, I'll make a channel in this and bolt that to that, and the steering arm will ride on the inside of that, in theory. This will be fine. I might have to space it up a tiny bit because I can feel the gearing kind of chattering a little bit, but it's basically just to carry the weight of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, yes. What's up, Carl? It's good to go, man. This is, that's just the prototype, so I'll probably, I don't know, I might use that. I think I just got to box it in and figure out how it's going to stay, and then, yeah, I'm excited. It's like I always fall behind on a truck, and I'm always like, I hate this truck. And then I get stuff done, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool again.
Oh, the gas tank. No, I was saying the side quest is Carl's dually. You know, I filmed when we brought this down to the shop.
How many years ago? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It sat outside for like 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
So.
But when it's done, we're going to mess around with this on video. So you'll see it in these videos every once in a while when Panda does cool stuff like that on the rack. All right, it's been a couple weeks now, and quite a bit's gotten done. We have a lot of cutting, a lot of grinding, a lot of talking, and the truck's basically laid flat on the ground. But I'm headed back over to Panda's now, try to get the Wishbone built, and then we're going to end this episode there. And then, yeah, that's kind of where we're going. But moving forward, these episodes will probably just be like streamlined. So there's not going to be like a Tacoma episode, a 91 Toyota episode, an OBS episode. They'll be us, just what we're working on at that time or what show we're going to at that time. Kind of like a vlog, I guess. So, you know, maybe in the future, if we have a truck and we're dedicating that entire episode to that truck, then yeah, but there's going to be a lot of side quests happening, as you'll see in the next Tacoma video, or in the next video, I guess. Not even call it the Tacoma video. But yeah, let's go to Pandas. Oh, shit.
We're like trimming and stuff for the front. So, we're making sure that the bag doesn't rub on anything after it goes in. And we just got a little bit more trimming. There's a bolt on the lower control arm that you still got to be able to access for the lower ball joint to pull it in and out in case you need to replace it. So we got to kind of keep that. We're just going to start notching stuff out and boxing stuff up and doing bag plates on the front. These are just the lower bag plates that are going to go on top of the control arm, on top of the lower control arm. Brandon needs them to kind of set up the front end, and then we can figure out the top bag brackets from there. So we kind of just need to figure out placement first. So drill up some boobs, and we're gonna cut them out. 20 inches. All right.
Why do you build it on the table? Huh? Why do you build it on the table and not on the truck?
It's kind of like building a fixture. I don't ever build like fixtures and put them on the shelf because things usually aren't the same every truck. So I usually just weld tabs to the table. That way I can make sure everything's like real square and real flat and flush with each other. And then I'll weld it together on the table too. And then I'll unbolt the heim joint, flip it, and then weld the bottom. It keeps like the bushing straight from, you know, pivoting and moving. Once you put a lot of heat to it, wishbones tend to pull and push and stuff. And I found out that a lot of times if you tack them in the mounts on the truck and then you pull it out and weld it, you go back and it doesn't fit. So I like doing this, building the wishbone first, then placing it in the truck, then making the tabs for the wishbone.
Do you ever get ahead of yourself and you're like, that'll be easy? And then when you start to actually get into it, you're like, actually, I jumped ahead of the game just to get stuff done too fast. And now I got to go like, it's like 10 steps forward and 1 step backward.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut this whole back half off and just build a new one?
We're just gonna cut it out. No, hell no. So what I like to do on the suspension, I always use heim joints and bushings. So that way you have an adjustable end that's also a pivoting end. If I were to do the heim joint, because the heim joints are on the frame side right now. If I were to do the heim joint on the frame side and then the bushings on this side, we'd have way too much play almost, you know what I'm saying? So whichever way the lower link bars are going, I flip the upper to the other direction. So right now the bushings are on the axle. I'm gonna put the bushings on the chassis. So that way the heim joint's on the rear end, so you still get the articulation that you need. It's just not gonna be as extreme. If you put all the heim joints on one side or all the heim joints on the other side, or if you use all the heim joints, your rear end's just gonna be it'll move a lot. It'll just move a lot. I'm really just looking at it to see if I can get away with not putting any bends in this thing. Just goes 2 straight tubes and then a single, which I think is gonna be the best bet. You wanna know a key trick to building a wishbone?
Yeah.
You have to connect the tube to the bone. If you connect this tube to this tube, it's gonna rip. It's gonna rip.
Yeah, so like people will bring it down to here, but then you have all this right here that's got this lateral movement.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what tends to happen too is like for instance, so where this wishbone's at, these are mounted to the frame, this is mounted to the axle. If your bags are behind the axle, when it goes to carry weight, your axle, it's carrying weight behind the rear end, so it wants to do this. It's gonna rip this thing to pieces. Like there's no way around it. Unless obviously you do like super thick wall, fucking whatever. But if you have your bags directly on top of axle, it's a lot better. But in this case, we're gonna run them in front because there's more room. So I just want to make sure that we can tee it off into that. We'll be good.
Is this when you find out you made it too short?
Yeah. I think we're good though. I was really trying to make it wide enough to where the bolts didn't run into this center part, you know? Those bushings, but yeah, we're golden, dude. And then I made it wide enough too to where we don't have to do the mounts like off the tube. We can make them straight off of this. And I'll sit something like that. It's pretty okay for a mini truck. Should start working on turning that word around, you know? It's like we stop using. We gotta stop using mini truck as a derogatory, offensive word. Wishbone's finished. Brandon's working on the front Brandon's working on the front bag brackets and the gussets that go in that, so those will get tacked in next. After the front is done and tacked and welded, we can go ahead and level the truck out, and then I can set up the pinion angle, and then I can make the mounts for the upper wishbone. After that, it's bag brackets, shock mounts, and we just mount stuff. And then we're done. And then we do the body drop. And then
I was gonna say, and then the real fun starts.
the body drop is gonna be really fun.
And you said 2x3 in a conversation today. You haven't decided 2x3 or 2x2?
2x2?
I don't know. It's up to you. I'm not the fabricator.
I really don't want to notch anything underneath the cab if we
Yeah.
can help it. Maybe we do 2x2 by quarter. It's got to be strong enough. We'll figure out how to make it strong enough. We just don't want any bed flex or.
You'll figure out how to make it strong.
That's what I mean. We got this. This is
We-
a team effort.
Team effort. I need a haircut.
Brandon just got one.
I know. He looks pretty slick.
Yes. Gosh. Yeah, I need a haircut too.
All right, well, I'm going to go get a haircut.
Once a month. All right.
Is that it?
I think so. You want to say bye?
Peace out.
Okay, like I was just saying a little bit ago, these episodes are going to start to just flow into each other instead of working on one truck, on each episode. So, like, we're going to do, like, the next episode is the Tacoma, driving it to the reunion show. And in the middle of that is the reunion episode. And then after that, we'll get back on the 91 Toyota. And then, and then we'll probably dabble in Tacoma content there. And then the Forbidden Fantasy show is coming up. So we'll probably dabble in some of that content. This is going to become just more of just like a continuity thing versus separate episodes for separate builds. So appreciate it. Merch, grinder-tv.com. And see you on the next one.
Yeah, I figure out why it sounds like shit.
No one above me. Step into the crowd, yeah, I'm feeling so